and enhance your integrity to serve this country and the civil service in the most transparent and successful manner.
For Lashade, Yemi Eson bows out. Esther Walson-Jack steps in as 14th head of Service of Federation since Nigeria became a republic in 1963. Provision of legal identity for all by 2030 in focus as Africa observes civil registration and
every child registered at birth contributes to a more just and equitable society.
Some of us that are good in technical things like that, we are being hired already.
International community celebrates potential, accomplishments and contributions of young people worldwide in digital transformation. Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA with me, Naja'atu Tijani. Joining me tonight from Lagos is Hingino John Adams. Musa Abubakar is in our Abuja studios with business news. What can we expect tonight, Musa?
The equities market and first weekday of trade on a bearish note.
Well, details later in the bulletin. Also in Abuja, live sports news with Bade Adeleye. And now that the Olympic Games are over, Bade, what should we expect?
Well, the latest is that the sports minister will be chairing the committee, which will be on a fact-finding mission when it comes to Nigeria's performance at the Olympics. But he says preparations for the next Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles have begun already.
All right, we're looking forward to sports action on NTA News, which is always live on our website, nta.ng/live, and our YouTube channel, NTA News. Do follow us across social media handles displayed on the screen. Now the news. The federal government has taken delivery of 20 compressed natural gas-powered buses from the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu took delivery of the high-capacity buses at the State House. Correspondent Musbao Danwahab reports.
The Federal Executive Council meeting held this Monday with different memos on the agenda. But after a few hours of deliberation and consideration, council members took to the forecourt of the State House to witness another success under the presidential CNG initiative. Under NNPCL arrangements, the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, is delivering locally manufactured hybrid buses planned to run on CNG.
To the glory of God, and promise of change to prosperity for Nigerian transportation, I hereby inaugurate the bus.
With commercial vehicles constituting about 80% of petrol demands in the country, while the abundant deposit of natural gas is under harnessed, President Bola Tinubu believes Nigeria must be innovative in its approach towards reworking the economy for greater prosperity.
If we work harder, be productive and innovative, it is an economic necessity that we should embrace. If we can enhance our energy competitiveness and bring about transformative changes like this, we would definitely be able to achieve the prosperity that we are working hard to accomplish for our people.
Apart from aiming at a more environmentally friendly transportation system, the current administration is also targeting reduction in the cost of transportation with the CNG initiative.
This will contribute in bringing down transportation costs, and we know that if transportation costs come down, food and so many things will follow, since transportation seems to be one of the little issues or the big issues we have in Nigeria.
The CNG initiative is one has come to stay. government has invested heavily in that direction, and we know and we do hope that this is really going to be something that has come to stay for our country.
The government is hoping for more delivery of CNG vehicles for mass transportation, with many assembly plants designated for manufacturing and conversion across the country. From the State House, Musbao Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, there is a new sheriff in town. Mrs. Esther Walson-Jack has been sworn in as the new head of civil service of the Federation. The swearing-in took place before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting under the chairmanship of President Bola Tinubu this Monday. State House correspondent Musbao Wahab again reports that Mrs. Walson-Jack takes over from Mrs. Folashade Yemi-Eson, who has proceeded on retirement from civil service after 5 years in the top civil service position.
But one thing I have done is to put in my best into the service.
For Folashade Yemi-Eson in the Federal Civil Service, and in the last moments in the council chambers in this capacity, Mrs. Yemi-Eson literally saw herself in a mirror. The council members, through the secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, extolled the virtues of Mrs. Yemi-Eson as a public servant, which they believe have fostered transparency, efficiency and accountability in the Federal Civil Service.
One of our most significant achievements has been the implementation of the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021 to 2025, which is focused on capacity building and talent management, performance management system, human resource, innovation, digitization, content services, and staff welfare.
These attributes have also won a place in the mind of the president, who acknowledged the diligence of the outgone head of civil service and what he described as big shoes for the incoming #1 federal civil servant.
We must learn from her more of commitment to duty, loyalty, and great vision. She served our nation exceptionally well with distinction, guiding the civil service through significant transformation and reform.
As big as the shoes may be, Didi Esther Walson-Jack was set to step in anyways. Another thoroughbred administrator herself, Walson-Jack, who transferred her service from Bayelsa State Civil Service, had served as Federal Permanent Secretary in different ministries including Niger Delta and Education.
God will continue to guide you, provide you with the wisdom, and enhance your integrity to serve this country and the civil service in the most transparent and successful manner.
I'm looking forward to building on the existing reforms in a way that will bring in innovation and creativity so that the civil service bureaucracy can be more effective and more efficient to deliver on the renewed hope agenda.
Didi Esther Walson-Jack, born in 1966 from Bayelsa State, is now the 21st head of civil service of the Federation and 5th woman in this capacity. From the State House, Musbao Wahab, NTA News.
Well, you heard the head of civil service there talk about bringing innovation to the civil service, and Nigeria is sustaining a well-developed and functional civil registration system. Key players driving this initiative are optimistic of achieving the Sustainable Development Goal Target 16.9, which seeks to provide legal identity for all by 2030. The position of national data generating agencies and partners as part of engagements commemorating the Africa Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Day held in Abuja. Olusheye Adiabo reports.
Civil registration and vital statistics system are the primary sources of data on births, deaths, marriages, and other vital events. Months after the launch of the electronic civil registration and vital statistics system, a digital platform for the documentation of all vital events, the National Population Commission says there is significant improvement from about 30% coverage from 2022 as the current CRVS stands at 57%. The CRVS Day 2024 is themed Strengthening the Linkage of Civil Registration and Vital Statistics to Legal Identity Systems through Digitization for Enhanced Inclusion.
Every child registered at birth contributes to a more just and equitable society. It is a step towards leaving no one behind.
We want to make a breaking through with birth registration.
The key players in national data generation have agreed to sustain existing structure, which will place Nigeria on the path of meeting national and global targets. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Security matters now. Secure pipelines in the Niger Delta. The directive by President Tinubu, which has led troops deployed in the region to immobilize 58 illegal refining sites. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was on an exclusive visit to the sites in Bayelsa and River States, has more.
In the heart of Africa's oil industry, Nigeria's exploration sites have for decades been under constant threat from oil theft and pipeline vandalism. This illicit activity is not only economic sabotage, but also impacts negatively on the environment.
This over 35,000-litre cooking oven used for the illegal refining of petroleum products. It was discovered by the military along the Imo River.
Criminal syndicates siphon crude oil illegally, causing massive losses for the government and oil companies. To combat this threat, the Nigerian military and other security agencies, in line with the Chief of Defense Staff's directives, adopted drastic measures to protect the country's valuable natural resources.
As at yesterday, we have discovered over 22 illegal connections. We have destroyed over 58 illegal refineries. We have handled upward of 500,000 litres of crude oil and illegally refined products.
These renewed operations include enhanced surveillance, intelligence gathering, and coordinated raids on oil bunkering sites.
In more enlightenment to community, the benefit they attend to are, benefit accruable to them. Because if do not understand that through that mechanism, they'll be able to be accommodated, they will continue to engage with the saboteurs that engage in breaching our pipelines.
The fight against oil theft is upscaled, while measures need to be adopted to curb the alleged smuggling in the offshore.
This is one of the recently vandalized pipes along the flow line in Amoma local government area in River State. And here are products siphoned from the line. From Amoma in River State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has expressed delight at the high level of synergy among the armed forces of Nigeria amid numerous operational successes recorded against terrorists, insurgents, kidnappers, and other criminal elements in the country. General Musa made this remark while being briefed at the State House at the Strategic Operations Center headquarters, Nigerian Air Force rather. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
After the NAF weekly operational briefing by Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, the Chief of Defense Staff lauded the renewed efforts in the fight against oil theft in the Niger Delta region, which was in line with the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu towards ramping up oil production in the region. General Musa noted that though the nation's current security challenges are daunting, they are, however, surmountable as long as the armed forces continue to work together as a team, calling for continued collaboration and cooperation among the services and with other security agencies. The CDS also emphasized the need for increased discipline among personnel, stressing that all hands must be on deck to achieve the desired results. While appreciating NAF personnel for their unwavering dedication and hard work, General Christopher Musa assured his full commitment to providing all necessary support to enable the NAF and other services rid the nation of its security challenges. He then commended the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, for his leadership and encouraged the NAF to maintain the momentum and continue working collaboratively. The armed forces of Nigeria must continue to enhance synergy and intensify air operations to combat terrorists and other criminal elements, curbing their operational freedom and fostering favorable conditions for successful ground troop operations. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Immigration Service has launched a formal investigation into a viral video on social media of a female traveler destroying a Nigerian standard passport at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos. The individual involved has been identified as Mrs. Favor Igebo, holding passport number A11990869. In a statement, Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Immigration Service, Kenneth Udo, indicates the Comptroller General of Immigration has directed that Mrs. Favor Igebo be invited for further investigation. If the allegations are substantiated, the statement notes her action would constitute a breach of Section 10, subsection B of the Immigration Act 2015 as amended, with corresponding penalties outlined under Section 10H of the same Act. Udo reiterates that the service remains steadfast in its commitment to upholding the provisions of the Immigration Act in the interest of national security and to preserve the dignity and integrity of the nation's legal instruments. Still on the matter, the National Orientation Agency has strongly condemned the action of one Mrs. Favor Igebo, who allegedly tore her husband's international passport at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos. In a statement, the director of the agency, Lanre Isa Onilu, describes her action to have constituted an affront against the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially as it relates to national symbols. The agency says it will support moves by the Nigeria Immigration Service to investigate and prosecute such a breach in line with Section 10B of the Immigration Act 2015 as a deterrent to those who may willfully damage an important national symbol such as the passport of property of the federal government. It says no person who has the privilege of owning one should abuse or even damage it under whatever guise. And still on handling legal identification, an expert, Mr. Bayo Akinlade, past National Publicity Secretary or Secretary of the Nigerian Law Society and past Chairman of the NBA Ikorodu branch in Lagos, shares insights into this incident where a woman tore her husband's international passport at the Murtala Muhammad Airport. Thank you for joining NTA News, sir.
Good evening, and it's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Now, what are the legal implications for individuals who intentionally damage or destroy another person's passport or other legal identification documents? And how can such cases be addressed to prevent further incidents?
Let's take what can I call it now? Let's take the incident that happened with the Naira spraying, where the courts have are now judging issues regarding that. The same thing happens to an international passport. It does not really belong to you; it belongs to the government. And anything you do to that passport by maybe not keeping it well or having it destroyed is a criminal offense. So people should understand that if the documents doesn't really belong to them, it belongs to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It can also be withdrawn from you. It can be taken from you, can be seized from you. But tearing that passport is a serious violation, and people should understand that.
So even if a person is upset, angry, I mean, where emotions run high, such as domestic disputes, is it okay?
No, you cannot destroy what does not belong to you. It's the property of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's like destroying a public facility. It's like tearing up the Naira note. It's a serious violation. It's like I said, you can't go around destroying property like an international passport. It is a property. It belongs to the government, and we cannot, as Nigerians, and nobody does that in any other country. It's a pride to have an international passport. I mean, just look at it. Those who have a British passport or US passport or any passport that many people want to go to their countries, they hold it dearly, they keep it dearly, they keep it safely. So that woman did a very, very responsible thing. I'm sure she couldn't have done it with her own if she had a British passport. I'm sure she would never, never do such a thing to that passport. Then coming back home and then taking a hold of her husband's passport and tearing it right there at the international airport. I hope she really gets the full penalties in this regard.
So speaking of penalties, though, what are the legal implications and what can authorities do to ensure that incidents like this don't happen?
Well, I think I checked the law. It's about a year in prison. I'm not sure there's a condition for fine, a provisions for fine. I think it's strictly something that you have to go to prison for. The authorities can hardly do anything because your international passport is always supposed to be in your custody, kept very safely. So when you're going through the immigration in any country, they only use that, they only collect it from you to identify who you are and then to see whether you have a valid visa to enter into the country. So basically, it's not something that the authorities would hold for more than a minute or two just to verify your identity. So it's very hard for the authorities to prevent such a thing other than to maybe from now on have some kind of adverts going around the country saying how important the national passport is. And I'm glad that the National Orientation Agency has made this statement about this. And it's be good for them to maybe have a public announcement once in a month reminding people of the importance of their international passport.
Thank you very much for exploring the legal, emotional, and awareness-related aspects of handling identification and, of course, other national documents with our viewers.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Yes, I've been speaking with Bayo Akinlade, the immediate past National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Law Society, on the passport incident at Murtala Mohammed Airport. Ahead in the bulletin, World commemorates Youth Day with focus on accomplishments in digital pathways for sustainable development. Details after the break. Today, 12th August, the world unites to celebrate International Youth Day, dedicated to the voices and contributions of young people worldwide. This year's theme, From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development, highlights the transformative power of digital technology in shaping a more sustainable and inclusive future. Correspondent Olainka Uju reports.
In today's world, digital technology is more than just a tool, but a catalyst for change. This is because it offers young people unprecedented opportunities to contribute to sustainable development.
As a ghostwriter, I can write for people, even though I will not acclaim the work to myself, but yes, but they're paying me to write for them.
My digital skill is research on Nigeria's renewable energy potentials online. This skill I've acquired is very useful in terms of recommendations in my workplace.
These young people are harnessing the power of digital technology to create businesses that not only create income but also promote sustainable practices. Just like this youth corps member, Moses Emery.
Some of us that are good in technical things like that, we are being hired already at youth, and it's very, very good, and I feel happy about it.
While the digital age presents immense opportunities, it also comes with its own challenges.
If you give me a laptop now, I'm very excited, and it will help me improve my skill. And some of these equipment, they are very, very expensive.
To address these challenges, investment in digital infrastructure, education and training have become necessary for government and the private sector.
The ministry, in conjunction with NISA, they have planned on trying to train 30 million youth on digital skills.
SAID program is targeted towards ensuring that we make the core members have skill of their interest. The aim of this training is to make them self-reliant, self-employed, so that at the end of their service, they can stand on their own.
For experts, ensuring that all young people have access to the digital tools and resources must become a priority. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
On International Youth Day, President Bola Tinubu celebrates Nigeria's youths and extols their creative zeal to drive digital adoption, trends and innovation in Nigeria and beyond. President Tinubu affirms that within the nation's youths lies an excellent spirit and pearl of transformation to take Nigeria to prosperity and global acclaim through innovation. The president acknowledges the strides of the youth in diverse spheres, especially in developing billion-dollar innovations to make the world a more prosperous and evolved space. The president salutes the Nigerian youth in Ebute Metta with only a ring light and a camera, creating legitimate income and wonders in amusement. That young woman entrepreneur in Aba creating inimitable fashion pieces, and that young man in Kano creating pathways for sustainable agriculture through agro-technology. Adding that it is in furtherance of harnessing the creative talents of the youth that his administration relaunched the Nigeria Youth Investment Fund under the Federal Ministry of Youth Development. The facility is a 110 billion naira fund dedicated to empowering youth in priority sectors to drive sustainable economic growth and development. The Digital and Creative Enterprises Program, IDICE, the 3 Million Technical Talent Scheme, the Skill Up Artisans Program, and the National Youth Talent Export Program are also some of the programs to empower the nation's young people and create millions of it and technical jobs which will make them globally competitive. President Tinubu celebrates and assures Nigerian youth that his administration is here to make their dreams come alive in a sustainable, expansive, and inclusive economy. Empowering young Nigerians. We'll take that later. The Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Bio, has solicited the intervention of NHyperDec to address the people. And that report will come later. We'll go back to our first report. Empowering young Nigerians. That's the promise of the Green Chamber as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, rejoices with youths on the occasion of International Youth Day. The Speaker, while congratulating Nigerian youth on this day, says the 10th House, under his leadership, has prioritized youth-oriented legislation and will continue to give issues affecting Nigerian youths the utmost attention, while urging them to remain patriotic, law-abiding and optimistic about Nigeria's progress and economic development. As your president, I am passionate about youth empowerment and fully committed to ensuring that the federal government supports your aspirations. Part of President Tinubu's message delivered by the Minister of Youth Development, Jamila Abu Ibrahim, at the Nigeria Police Force Youth Summit in Abuja. Francis Fom tells us more.
Considered being timely, a moment the Nigeria Police Force is organizing a youth summit commemorating the International Youth Day, recognizing the potentials of young Nigerians and the crucial role they play in addressing global challenges. The summit, which is coming barely a few days after the nationwide protest, is a testament to the federal government's commitment in engaging the young people and empowering them to reach their potentials.
Our administration has made substantial investments in youth empowerment programs since we came on board. These initiatives are designed to address immediate needs while creating sustainable opportunities for education, sports, agriculture, entertainment, skills acquisition, healthcare, and entrepreneurship.
We are dedicated to supporting and empowering our youth as active agents of change and leaders in building a safer, more prosperous Nigeria.
The President's Renew Hope agenda is rooted in the vision for a Nigeria where our youth are not only participants, but are leaders in the quest for national security.
With the theme, Enhancing Youth Value for National Security Intelligence, former Vice Chancellor of the Lagos State University and panel discussants called for continuous engagement of the youth, not to be hijacked for selfish interests. Francis from NTA News.
The Social Democratic Party, SDP, has joined in the clarion call, urging Nigerian youths to play an active role in politics. Kenneth Nanim reports that speakers at an event organized by the party to commemorate the International Day of the Youth unanimously agreed that it is the only way for them to have their voices heard.
Aligning itself with the theme of the celebration, which is Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Future, Harnessing Energy for National Development, the Social Democratic Party, SDP, says it will continue to widen conversations around youth emancipation and empowerment.
Let us transform our passion into action, our ideas into policy, our dreams into reality.
Having identified some gaps between youths and leadership which must be bridged, the organizers believe youths as agents of positive change must stand up and take their rightful place in governance.
It is time to unite, it is time to know, it is time to chart a new course.
Awakening the consciousness in the young people to stand up for their country, the youths, they say, must unite in all fronts and use their numerical strength during elections.
You change bad leaders by voting them out, not by guns. All of you here, you have the people, you have their guns, their programs, for casting
urging the government to leverage the Chinese and Japanese experiences to build the skills of young people. The forum also identified continued dialogue with the youth, mentorship, inclusivity, and socio-economic empowerment as areas of action to unleash youth potential that would engender good governance. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
It's time to join Hingino in Lagos for more updates from that zone. Hingino.
Thank you, Naja. Good to see you. One of Nigeria's largest and leading financial institutions, Zenith Bank PLC, is working towards taking its services to unserved and underserved communities within and outside Nigeria through a huge network of agents while consolidating on financial inclusion agenda. Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Zenith Bank PLC, Adora Umeoji stated this at the official presentation of the facts behind the bank's ongoing rights issue offer to market in Lagos. Diana Ajali reports.
Highlighting the facts behind Zenith Bank's rights issue offer, Group Managing Director CEO Adora Umeji pointed out that as at 31st December 2023, Zenith Bank PLC made a significant growth with Tier 1 capital of 1.9 trillion naira, being the highest in the banking industry in Nigeria. Shareholders' funds stood at 2.3 trillion naira, market capitalization 1.3 trillion naira, profit before tax 796 billion naira, making Zenith Bank PLC the most profitable bank in Nigeria that is paying 4 naira dividend per share and has sustained such development consistently for the period of 5 years, using organic profit without FX revaluation gains. All these achievements, Adora noted as strengths and facts behind the Zenith Bank public offer.
We are coming into the market with 8 billion shares, and we are very conscious of not diluting our shareholder or existing shareholders. That's why we are portioning 65% of it to rights issue and 35% to public offer. And the remaining 35% is going to be for working capital, to invest in the real sector, to be able to at least drive our SME and retail segment of the market.
Management of Nigerian Exchange Group commended Zenith Bank PLC for the laudable initiative.
This program aligns closely with the federal government's ambitious vision to hopefully elevate the Nigerian economy to this much talked about $1 trillion economy. Things like today's presentation by Zenith Bank play a crucial role in ensuring that investors have access to the facts and that they need to make informed decisions. By maintaining this high level of transparency, we not only seek to continue to foster a stronger relationship between listed entities and their investors, but also contribute to the overall stability and integrity of our capital markets.
The combined rights issue offer by Zenith Bank PLC opened August 1st, 2024, targeted at raising 290 billion naira, is expected to come to a close on September 9, 2024. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
To further drive home the message that Colgate toothpaste in its variant form is a product best for the oral hygiene of Nigerians, the company was at a faith-based annual camp to introduce and attend to customers' dental concerns, proving efficacy of the product. Lanre Bele has details.
There is no doubt Colgate toothpaste has become an integral part of Nigerians' oral hygiene at homes. Confident of their product, the company pitched its tent inside the RCCG prayer camp with its dentist attending to customers while selling its variant toothpaste to the people.
Colgate wanted to increase toothpaste penetration in rural Nigeria by educating consumers on the oral hygiene. With Nyaga with your smile, we've been able to provide free dental check for 20,000 persons and been able to reach out to 4 million persons in the camp.
Nigerians attested to the efficacy of the toothpaste, saying it truly gives cavity protection.
After using it, I'm still feeling it. It's like my mouth should just remain like that. So I really appreciate your love and the taste of the product. So I and my family, we are going to be using it permanently. This one gives me fresh breath and it lasts longer than the one I was using before. So I feel that this one is better than the one I was using before. So I got to make a new choice.
How do you know a good toothpaste and how do you know that, okay, what quantity of fluoride to look out for? So WHO recommends that fluoride content in toothpaste should be between 1,000 and 1,500 parts per million. So whenever you buy toothpaste, just check the content list and ensure that the toothpaste is within that range.
The company also used the opportunity to introduce variants of the toothpaste from charcoal, mint, herbal, and cooling crystal to its teeming customers. In Lagos, Lanre Bileyi, NTA News.
Musa is standing by with business news, but that will be after this break.
Now, thanks for being there. The Chartered Institute of Project Managers under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment says abandoned projects in Nigeria today stand at more than 17 trillion naira. And research shows that main causes to be absence of proper project planning from onset, poor budgetary allocation, and corruption, among other sharp practices. To this end, the Registrar, Henry Badiwe, says the Institute is partnering the National University Commission to design the first ever project management curriculum for Nigerian universities, as well as introducing project management curriculum for artisans as part of the federal government's super program being delivered by ITF, in addition to ensuring only those that register with the professional body get the job.
Projects in Nigeria without CIPMN license as required by law. And we will definitely hold ourselves to the highest possible standards in Nigeria and ensure that the regulation of this sector is done dispassionately without prejudice.
And the capital market, equities market began the first weekday of trading in negative territory as inflation and GDP figures are expected during the week. The All-Share Index shed 0.72% to end the session at 97,880.94 points at the end of the first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. A total of 498 million shares in 10,640 deals corresponding to a market value of 11.7 billion naira were traded. Today's data shows 4% improvement in volume, 44% improvement in turnover, and 12% improvement in deals. Market capitalization fell to 55 trillion naira. Guarantee Trust Holding Company recorded the highest volume of 124 million traded shares, followed by Veristas Capital Assurance, Access Holding, as well as Japan Gold. Let us have a quick look at business news. The news continues after the break.
Now we're taking live sports updates with Bade Adele standing by to fill us in. Bade.
Many thanks, Najato. Let's begin with the just ended Paris Olympics, as President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Tigers coach Rina Wakama on her recognition as the best coach of the women's basketball event at the Paris 2024 Olympics. The president stated that the recognition of the 32-year-old Wakama by the International Basketball Federation FIBA further accents her well-established leadership qualities and dedication to excellence. The president commends the team, the coach, and all those who played a part in the unprecedented feat of becoming the first African country to qualify for the quarterfinals of basketball events at the Olympics, enjoining them not to relent or become crestfallen, but remain resilient and determined for greatness. Still talking about the just-ended games in Paris, members of the Nigerian sports community have continued to react to the recent apology issued by Sports Minister John Eno on behalf of Team Nigeria following a below-par performance at the Olympics in Paris. Many believe Eno's apology and resolved to chair the fact-finding committee on what went wrong at the Games, tell on his readiness to fix the anomaly. Fresh from Paris is Anthony Asukwo, who was with Team Nigeria.
But it's just that luck didn't fall on our side. I will use that word because I'm also a sportman. And but he has said his program is all for the grassroots. And when you're going back to the grassroots, you know that that person should be on fire when it's coming out. So you build them again from the scratch. And that is the best thing to do at this time. So I think he's knowledgeable enough to use that word, grassroots sport development, so that will give room to other, prospects that will be coming up to represent the country. It's not about winning medals. It is about the process. So if this is going to make our sport be purified, I think I would love this to happen.
Finally, Imani Khalif, the boxer caught in the middle of the gender row at the Olympics, has filed a legal complaint citing being the victim of online harassment. Khalif won gold in the women's welterweight tournament in Paris on Friday, becoming Nigeria's first woman to ever win a